the Saitama AMA, and let's see what they're saying. We're gonna tune in right now, and I'm gonna set up my live stream as I'm going. So if you see the screen move or anything, don't be alarmed.
Let's see if he's requesting right now.
Yeah, we should have either him or a cryptologist if you can see him on here. He's part of our engineering team as well. So if you can see him on here, we can bring him up as a speaker as well. See if I can find him also.
Yeah, I just sent him an invite. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'm gonna sign into the.
So how are you doing today, cryptologist? Can you hear me?
Yep, can you hear me?
Hey, thank you for being here, man. Do you want to give us a quick introduction to yourself, who you are, and your role with Saitama?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's cryptologist, and I have been working with Max very closely to manage the project Saitama and try to get it, rolled forward and previous to the launch. And yeah, so working with the dev team.
Okay.
Awesome, man. Thank you for those introductions. So I'd like to kind of get right to it. I know we're a little bit time crunched today, but we got a few questions on everybody's mind. I'd like to ask if you could clarify for everyone what happened with the original Saitama Mask wallet launch and where do we stand now? And could you explain the failures and what your team went through to fix it to prevent future issues?
Oh man, coming in heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we launched Saitama, we had massive DDoS attacks, very well coordinated, and we basically, it slowed down the traffic so much that we had to uh, put other mitigations in place. Since then, we have tried to, well, at the time we were trying to fight the attack, then we slowed down the traffic. We started, degrading the network coming in. Everyone, we kind of figured out by sections and regions and where some of these attacks are coming from. So we started slowing that down, and then right now, basically we have mitigated the DDoS attack. We mitigated it a few days back. We have hired a very global company for cyber to monitor the traffic. They basically monitor like 90% of the world's traffic, and they have AI systems in place that obviously they take care of malicious IP addresses, known IP addresses, and a lot more than that. They're usually into big banking systems. So we've mitigated that section with that. And now, obviously, since we had the attack, we had a lot of issues with some of the rates, some of the rating that we get from some of the services. So we're trying to mitigate that as well, meaning, when you sign up for a service, for example, for analytics, to try to get a lot of the market data, especially cryptocurrency market data, they give you so many hits a day or whatnot, so you can get the data. Well, basically, we ran through months worth of data because of the DDoS attack at the beginning. So now we're trying to work with some of these companies to give us a lot more than what we originally we originally put into for the systems, and working with getting new APIs, getting new keys. For example, a lot of the people where they're experiencing is the email services. It's a little slow. We're working on bringing that back up because also we got rated. We had so many emails per day, per month, per year, and we've gone through basically a lot of like months worth of.
Guys, I literally called this. I literally called the email thing. This is, if you watch me on my YouTube channel, this was the first thing I said. It has to be email. Everything points to email. You have to slow down the email. You can't call it directly. Let's listen back in here.
To unspam ourselves, obviously from some of the regions, and we're working on mitigating that. Well, that's the mitigation, and we're working on a second mitigation plan to bring in another service that will not cause that anymore, even moving forward, no matter how much traffic we get. And we're working on that as we speak, trying to get multiple servers for that and bring some of that in-house so that we can control that.
Wait, man, thanks for that answer. That was very clear. That actually cleared up one of the questions too. We had a lot of concern over the email speed, so that's very good to know. So currently, right now, is Saitama Mask live on Android, iPhone, desktop? What are y'all live on right now?
Right now, it's on Android and iPhone or iOS. We released a new version last night to bring in those mitigations for the email, at least the email service platform that we went with. Now we're working on the server side to make sure that all that is lining up and it's moving smoothly, as well as the analytics data. So everyone should be up to version 1.6.
Okay. I believe I am. I
Okay,
got in,
excellent.
but the app
Appreciate
still
that.
crashes
So
for me.
we also had some
If you
questions
watch my
about
Twitter, you can see that.
location-based availability. Is this available around the world? Canada, Australia, Europe, US?
It is available in all the countries minus China. But of course, depending, especially with Android or the app, the Play Store, it's based on when they decide to release this out in those regions. I know iOS is a little different. They go ahead and they just push everything out. But Android, for some reason, or the Play Store, or Google, they just take a little bit of time to release them region by region, and that's their process.
That's awesome, man. So y'all are going worldwide with this thing. I got another question from the community coming in. Is the intent of Saitama Mask to be a Web3 competitor to something like MetaMask?
I'm gonna let Russ answer that. That's more of a vision of where Saitama's going.
Yeah, I mean, so we have a roadmap in place, and as you guys know, we're constantly evolving and growing into different areas, and it really just depends on what makes the most sense for us moving forward. If it's something that we want to integrate down the road, that we can. But as you guys know, as we're creating the SATA chain and our own blockchain and created with that, there's going to be a lot of changes coming with the SATA mask and the Saitama token. So yes and no. It really just depends on what makes the most sense for us at the time, what makes the availability and the use case for SATA mask easier, and having the the infrastructure, the interface. If it's adoptable, then it's something we can look at and it makes sense, we'll do it. If not, then we'll just sidebar it for now.
Awesome, man. I really thank you for answering that question. Now we got a few more coming in hot, so sorry to just bombard you with questions, but you can tell the community is really passionate about this thing. So we'll move on to the next one. Could you go over any contract audits that have been completed for Saitama Mask?
I can go over who's audited, but not into detail. So Certec did do audits for both all the contracts for the swap and obviously the token, and has done the audit for the actual application.
So Certic is the only audit. There you go. Nothing else. So now they've smartened up and they're using other companies, and now they got quiet. But Russ is chiming in now.
They do on the thing. So the Saitamask, all the audits that were completed by Certic are available for you guys to review and look more in depth if you have questions as far as what the outcomes were, what the findings are. That stuff's all available on their website.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure to check that out too as well and post some information about it. Do y'all have any major burns planned for the initial, other than the initial burn of the 49% of? If so, do you have some dates we can look forward to?
Yeah, so I mean, we're DeFi, right? So we burn every transaction. So every single buy, sell, transfer that occurs on the Uniswap platform right now initiates that burn. So as you guys, if you can look, we burned the original 49%, and we're already up to close to 57% of total circulating supply burnt. And if you look back at our historical data, we didn't do a lot of volume. Obviously, the first few months, as a new coin, we didn't do a lot. So over the last probably 3 to 4 months, our volume has varied from 1 million per day up to 30 million per day. So a lot of burn has taken place since then. If you look at 7%, 8% over the last 8 months, it's a pretty significant amount. So as far as a planned and coordinated burn, we don't really we don't really need to. I mean, we've burned
The answer is no.
7
Just say
quadrillion
no.
coins over the last 8 months. And as I kind of spoke about before a little bit earlier, we do, almost like the hyper burn, where we have, tokens that we're bringing on to SaitaMask, and these transactions that take place on our platform will be constantly burning evolution as well. So our burn percentage and the amount of tokens we burn on a regular basis is going to drastically increase. So a planned event to burn, say, a couple trillion coins or quadrillion coins, we don't really need to, because it's going to kind of do it. It does it itself. We don't really need to burn that circulating supply. We'll just let it happen on its own organically.
Awesome.
They don't need to burn. There you go.
So
don't expect the price to just fluctuate from a burn.
To burning the initial 49%.
Yeah, I mean, so it's with any DeFi coin that's out there, you launch a ridiculously large circulating supply. You launch it and it has, I guess, 120 quadrillion coins or whatever, right? And then you burn the initial circulating supply to diminish that amount. Reason being for it, there's no, rhyme or reason to it, but you don't want to have such a massive circulating supply that whatever burn implementation or tokenomics you have in place, it takes years and years to get to that point. If we didn't burn any originally off the bat, we'd still have a massive circulating supply. And even now we still do, if you look at the amount of zeros we have, but we've made a pretty big dent in it over the last 8 months. So, whatever that amount is, the original token was renounced, right? So as you guys may or may not know, all the development team, we took over the renounced contract maybe a day or two after it was actually deployed. So that number, 49%, wasn't something that we all kind of voted on. It was actually deployed at that point. We took it over, and obviously the contract being renounced, we had to work with what we had to. So,
awesome, man! Very good information to know.
I did not know
I'm super
a takeover
for
announced contract.
SaitaMask. What tokens will be paired and will be listed on SaitaMask?
Yeah, tell me.
So right now we have a list of tokens that we had put out. We have some traditional meme coins that we have on there, people that we've gone through, and smart contracts that we validated that you guys have seen on a couple of our posting on our webpage. We have like Shaman, we have Deku Inu, Shuna. We have like about 6 or 7 Impact XP coin. We have a few that we're listing on there now. Of course, we'll have the Ethereum coin on there as it's paired with Saitama. So all the coins that we put on there in that category I just listed will be a Saitama and that native coin pairing, right? So where you're able to be a 1-for-1 swap. That's what the liquidity pool is going to be initially, is Saitama with any of these other coins, which kind of helps our ecosystem out, because in order for these coins to get listed on SaitaMask, they have to provide X amount of liquidity in Saitama and X amount of liquidity in their native token. So we don't have a liquidity pool for them to just pull from free. So they have to then get that from the Uniswap pool and migrate it over to SaitaMask. So essentially down the road, we'd like to have all the coins that are in the Uniswap pool migrated over into SaitaMask. So that also helps with not only the token price, but the burn, as we kind of mentioned earlier. We do have plans on migrating over some more traditional altcoins like XRP, Cardano, things like that. We'll have available swaps for our holders and our users as well. So it won't just be your traditional meme coins. We'll have several different coins on there, and we'll be adding many more as we go. I think once we get everything lined up and we get this out functioning 100%, then we'll start adding liquidity in different pairs for other things. And of course the Lily token, which will launch shortly after we get everything kinked up.
That's awesome, man. So Saitama states there's a whale trap system built in. Can you kind of explain to our viewers how does the Saitama whale trap work, and can multiple wallets be used to work around this?
There is no whale trap. So the price drops like anything. Get out of here.
It's just based off price impact, right? So if we have, if you hold X amount of tokens, and you're trying to swap too big of an amount, it creates almost, it creates a price fluctuation to where you'll lose some of that. So if you have, if you're trying to sell 150 Ethereum per se, you go to initiate that swap, you're not going to get 150 Ethereum. You'll get much less. It's not a set amount. It's based on kind of an algorithm to where it depends on the price impact and what that means to the token. So in order to get around that, you don't even need multiple wallets. You just make smaller sales. So it kind of defers people from making huge sales at the same time. Can you still do it? Yeah, you have to just do it in smaller increments. But I've seen it happen over and over again. people make large sells, 100 Ethereum, 150 Ethereum, whatever that is, and they end up losing, 10, 20 Ethereum on the sell. So, and that, just so you know, all the, either the Saitama token or Ethereum, it goes right back into the liquidity pool. It doesn't go anywhere, fancy to a different wallet or anything. It just gets added right back to LP.
The right answer is there is no whale trap, man. Come on. He's trying to make reflections sound like it's a whale trap.
So,
you get less than you actually cash out. Because 2% is taken every time. Come on, we're not that dumb.
We have quite a few from the community, man. Another one coming in is, will Saitama consider dividends alongside staking benefits?
Yeah, so offering dividend, that's not something that we're doing. The dynamic staking that's in place is extremely lucrative and enticing for holders to do. I think, if you guys look at the roadmap, it's crazy. We're at 8-10%, depending on how long you stake it for. So offering a dividend on top of the insanely large staking option is not something that we're looking to do. We're already, it's massive. It's the biggest, APR on your return that I've seen so far. So the dividend is in place. We really don't have anything lined up for that.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks for clearing that up. That was one of the questions that was floating around quite a bit. Could Saitama give us more insight into the partnership with Terry Briggs and what that will bring in the near future?
Yeah, hang on just 1 second. So we have a lot of different people that are in, they're not part of the development team, they're just holders, so they're trying to help out and do whatever they can to grow. Right? They're not moderators, they're not holders, they're not developers. They're just people that hold Saitama token that want to see it succeed. Right? So as they, bring new holders, or they go around and they're talking about Saitama, they're doing that to spread the name, just like everybody else. I see a lot of people in the community, holding, gatherings, or people come on here and do their, Twitter spaces, that all go out and, cruise around the community and do certain things. We have a lot of people that do, food drives and everything else. It's just people in the community that want to help. So there isn't a formal alliance or partnership there. It's just people genuinely wanting to see, Saitama succeed. So they're doing whatever that's in their capability, to do that, instead of just sitting back and hoping that more people buy Saitama. They're being proactive in the community, and proactive in a sense that say, hey, I can actually help myself. I don't need to be a developer, or I don't need to have a strategic alliance with Saitama to help grow this project. I had the means and the capabilities to do so. So what they're doing is completely voluntary at this point. They're just helping Saitama to grow. They're helping get the name and the brand out there to people that otherwise wouldn't know unless there was someone in that field being proactive. We're only, a handful of developers and moderators. We can't, obviously do everything. We do as much as we can, but it takes the entire community to really help grow the project, and they're just kind of playing their part.
It turned into a handful of developers and community from we have teams upon teams. Guys, what he's doing is marketing completely
and stay transparent. That's always important in the crypto space. So thank you again. And for everybody that's just tuning in, we're interviewing the Saitama dev team. So if you please could take a second to retweet and share this space. For those that are interested, we'd greatly appreciate it. So
this is my first live stream. I thank you all for joining. We're going to keep listening here, guys, till the end. Stick with me.
So is there ability to buy Saitama on Saitamask using credit card or debit? And what are the fees involved for that?
Not right now. So at launch, we do have on our roadmap to implement a card to crypto payment system. It won't be on there right away, but it is definitely something that I think broken at end of Q1 or beginning of Q2 for having that adoptability for the card to crypto payment system. Now you guys are probably familiar with that, with the third parties used through Trust Wallet, like MoonPay, Simplex, things like that. So it'll be a similar functionality, but the goal is in the same with the Saitamask as right now, is to mitigate some of those fees. Of course, as you bring in third parties to initiate those functionalities, there is fees associated with that, but they're going to be much less than a lot of other places where you have those options available to you. So yeah, that is in the works to be able to have that option for yourself to, connect your bank account, your debit card, to purchase Ethereum, Saitama, etc. But it won't be out upon launch. It's broken at end of Q1, end of Q2. And again, on the roadmap for Saitamask, I said, it's not just, we're not rolling out the platform and then calling it good, washing our hands. Like, we have constant updates, tons of things that we're building and integrating into this platform, which is also why it's so important to get it rolled out. For the long term, build solid foundation for it, because there's so many more things that we're going to be adding to it as we go.
Awesome. Well, that's definitely something to look forward to. So next question coming from the community is a few people are asking about the story around the Nasdaq rumors. Can you clarify what the intention of the Nasdaq?
I think that's tomorrow. Nasdaq interview tomorrow.
Felt, misled by.
It's tomorrow.
I'm not sure what those rumors are. I mean, I did a recent interview with Nasdaq, and it was just in regards to getting the Saitama name and the brand out there through Nasdaq. I mean, we have no intention on going public if that's what the rumors are geared and aimed towards. We're a traditional cryptocurrency. We're not going to become publicly traded or anything like that. The Saitama brand, Saitama company, has no intentions on going public anytime soon. It probably not ever. So it really doesn't benefit us to become a publicly traded company at any point. So, but the Nasdaq, the only thing I can think of as towards Nasdaq is just the interview that I did recently that is now being aired over this weekend. I did an interview a few weeks ago with them that'll be aired on multiple different platforms.
Wait, thanks for clarifying, because I do feel like members of the community were probably feeling like, they were thinking y'all were trying to go public. So, hey, thank you very much for really clarifying that.
I never thought he was going public. It's crypto, man. Why would he go public? Come on.
Are these tokenomics that you have now locked in and immutable? And if they did need to be changed in the future, how would that take place?
So I mean, we don't really have a need for them to be changed, so we probably won't. So as you guys know, our liquidity is locked until May of 2022, so we can't do anything with the smart contract until then anyways. And once that time gets a little bit closer, we'll probably may or may not just relock it anyways. In order for us to create a new smart contract and kind of maneuver the tokenomics, we would have to deploy an entirely new contract. And now we're looking at over 300,000 plus holders, which means that we would have to airdrop to over 300 plus thousand people. I mean, gas fees on that alone would be absolutely insane. I don't even want to try and do the numbers on that. So would it be worth it for us to, have to go through all of that and put, that much stress on 300 plus thousand people and the developers and our engineering team just to add, manipulate the smart contract to adjust the tokenomics? Probably not. And we're, obviously if we were going to do something like that, we would have done it way earlier on when we had very, few holders. So, we're satisfied with the tokenomics the way that they are. The only thing maybe that we would change, a long time ago is to add maybe a 1% marketing donation or tax to that. As you guys may or not know, like, we pay for all that stuff out of pocket, which is why we're, trying to implement different functions of the coin so we can generate at least a small bit of revenue to help, succeed over some of those overhead costs. Because any kind of marketing plan that we do now, and really anything, even when it comes to launching on centralized exchanges, that stuff all comes out of, the development pocket, which is fine, right? I've been in business a long time. It takes money to make money, but that's something that we maybe would have changed a long time ago. But in the future now, we have way too many holders on, obviously through Uniswap and centralized exchanges to migrate to a new smart contract. It doesn't really make sense for us.
Guys, that's admittance right there. They are going through money trying to keep the app up because potentially they are getting so much network traffic that they're burning through the revenue. And now they need to generate revenue potentially. So I think that's a very honest statement from Saitamaguru.
So we actually it's been under construction for the last, I want to say maybe a month or so. So we were given an initial time frame of 4 to 6 weeks. So I'll have to follow up and see. It should be just about done as far as our own NFT platform. Gabe, I don't know if you guys know, he's our CCO. He does, our stuff with our NFT and our content creative team. He's been actually sick with COVID for the last week or so. So his whole family got hit pretty tough. So he's been kind of down and out, but we have, we outsourced and subcontracted a NFT platform creation team that's been constructing it for the last 4 weeks or so. So I would imagine probably in the next week or two it'll be completed, and I'll let Gabe start implementing it and getting all the functionality of it launched out, and then it'll be something that we can adopt onto SaitaMask. But of course, our number one priority is first getting the foundation set for SaitaMask, and then uploading and creating, different updates with the Saitamaker, as I mentioned earlier with the card to crypto payment system. That's part of our roadmap as we roll out, but we have to make sure first and foremost that there's, zero issues with Saitamask. So we're getting there, as Sandor, our cryptologist, kind of came on earlier and talked about how, they're already kind of mitigated any of the issues and rolling out. And, the DDoS attack kind of set us back. It's already been mitigated. So now it's like cleaning up the mess, right? All the issues that the DDoS attack caused, now we have to go back and kind of clean up a wet floor after all the, the party was over. So, but the idea is to get that, obviously rolled out 100%, which they're doing now. And then we can start adding all the other stuff that we have working behind on the back end, such as data maker and staking and all that good stuff.
Hey, well, I'm super excited for it, man. And, please let him know that we wish his family well and hopefully they get back better soon, man. So
Yeah,
is there any...
It's been a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. I'm sure y'all got a lot going on over there, man. So is there any truth to the rumor that's been floating around on Twitter and other places that Bitmart is going to buy back 700 trillion Saitama tokens?
You guys know about as much as we do. They put out an initial statement after the attack that they had full intentions on buying back whatever coins were lost or stolen or whatever. We have very little contact with them. We reached out, and whatever you guys have heard from their main sources is about all the information we have too. Trust me when I say that we have reached out several times, and we've been trying to track. As far as I know, they have started to buy back some. They have an asset management team that has been attempting to buy back some Saitama tokens, but there has been too much price impact and price manipulation when they attempt to buy it back. So they started to buy it back slowly, and then it was causing too much price manipulation. And my response to that is, well, we didn't really seem to care too much about that when someone sold 700 trillion in one day.
Where's the whale trap?
About the buyback process now and what that does to the market. But again, I don't work or am affiliated with Bitmart, so what they do and do not do, we have no control over. We just hope that they do the right thing, as they said that they were going to. So to answer your question in short, they have started the buyback process, and they're not really telling us what that looks like, because then it has to come on the asset management team, and then there's possibilities and opens the door to foul play where they say, okay, we're going to buy back 50 trillion coins in the next 48 hours. Then people can essentially come in and plan and play the market around that information. So they're kind of tight-lipped about it. But if we get any more information, and trust me, we're prying. So if we get any more information, we'll keep you guys in the loop, of course. So I would, all we can do is hope that they do what they say they're going to do, and which is buy back in full what they had lost.
No, absolutely, man. And that was just one of the big questions coming from the community.
I thought they sent it to like
a Saitama King Dubai.
Hurricane or tornado thing.
That an affiliated or trusted Twitter account for y'all?
Wallet address. It's hard to find who actually did it.
We only have one trusted Twitter account. So like I said, there's a lot of different people out there with Saitama in their handle, which is totally fine. They're just passionate about Saitama. We only have the one official Twitter account. Outside of myself, obviously, and the other developers that have their own, and there's probably about 650 fake ones out there too. But the main Twitter page is our number one source of information. And I'd say that if something comes from me, you can't trust it. It's probably true. But we try to at least flow all of our information through our main channels, and we're actually looking to get all these things verified, so there's no more fakes or alternates going out there. But yeah, if you see somebody with a Saitama in their handle or in their name, it's like, I know there's tons of them. It's just people that are passionate about the community. But officially, no, they're not official. We only have the one.
Well, I think that'll clarify for everybody, because like you said, there's 650 fake accounts out there, or just giving bad information. So I think that can help clarify for our listeners today.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a ton. So we only have the one main page. And like I said, there's a lot. I've seen a ton of fake ones, even for myself and the other guys out there, the other developers. They have fake ones that pop up every single day. But no, we only have the one main Twitter page. So follow that one. Anything else that you see, just consider it to be rumor.
Maybe they're getting away from YouTube promotions and stuff.
Can you verify the information on the official correctly on CoinMarketCap, which, from what we understand, is now owned by Binance?
Correctly? No. Our ranking right now is currently 2,600 and change. We are a top 100 crypto coin. So that's something that's ongoing with us that we've been trying and sending notifications to CMC to get rectified with no avail, of course. Again, we're not affiliated with CMC nor Binance, so we can't control any of that outcome. All we can do is do what we're supposed to do and ask and request for them to update our information. And of course, it has not been. That rhyme and reason behind that, I couldn't even presume to tell you what that is. I just know that the information on there is not accurate, and it has not been accurate for 6 months or more. So as you guys can probably take a look at our holder count and our total market cap, we're not ranked 2,600 and change. You know, we are a top 100 crypto. So, and actually on top of that, we're the fastest growing crypto that I can ever think about. So why we're ranked 2,600, I couldn't begin to tell you, but we're going to handle it. And
this is why I hold Saitama. It's going to change.
Yeah,
we are here. Wolfpack is strong.
Every time I look at the most looked up cryptos, y'all are always on the top of the list, man. So that's something really be excited about, man.
Yeah, and you're not trending on DEX tools for months in a row and top 10 most viewed cryptocurrencies all over the world and get ranked 2,600. That's physically impossible to do. So yeah, again, I don't know rhyme, reason, motive. Couldn't tell you. I could speculate, but I couldn't tell you for sure. So we won't.
Yeah, same thing. We can speculate, but we don't know.
Everybody listening, if you want to,
it definitely feels so fishy, guys. We should be a top 100 on CMC. We should be.
And all the people up here on top of this stage. Coming from the YouTube world,
wait, where's Max Equation, by the way? I like him. I like when he talks because he's the guy that's actually
pay YouTube
doing the
channels.
things. I think Cryptologist is more like
and tweets about the token. And are you planning any major marketing?
I know they probably
future?
both have developer roles.
That's a big negative. We don't pay YouTube content creators or Twitter people to post about Saitama. We've always been extremely transparent, open from the very beginning. We have in the past, created, paid YouTube content creators, pretty small scale. Just to, hey, they help get the information out there. But on a regular basis, and even now, so no, we don't need to, because Saitama is usually a pretty household name at this point. So people that create YouTube content to this point right now, most of it being sadly negative, is just to get the views and or subscribers, or they were, maybe offered incentive from a third party, but that third party was not us. So
that's speculation. We don't know if there's paid funders.
Inform yourself and watch things that you see that aren't directly from us or affiliated with us with a grain of salt. Because there's a lot of people out there that really want to kind of make a name for themselves. Unfortunately, it's crypto, and people want to, increase their viewers. They want to get monetized. They want to do this. They want to do that. And, Saitama is obviously one of the highest search coins out there. So with that, you get on to the API and put in Google, hey, if your video pops up first, it doesn't even have to be good or bad. You're going to get a lot of views. And with that, subscribers and monetization through YouTube. So yeah, we don't pay for content in that aspect. As I mentioned earlier, everything that we do on a marketing scale is out of pocket, and that's not something that we feel is beneficial for us to pay somebody to create YouTube content. Now, with that, I do say that we have a lot of people that have been Saitama holders and followers for a long time that do create YouTube content for their platform, not because they're being incentivized with money, but because they're holders and they're passionate about what we do, and they've been creating content for, if not from the beginning, for quite some time now. And that's, something that we're definitely appreciative of, but it's not compensated for. So as far as marketing in the upcoming future, we always have lots of marketing, and we have so many other things that we're working on with Saitama in the project as far as marketing and our ambitions, and to bring in new holders and to really push this thing to where we know it can go. But we're trying to mitigate things, and we've kind of learned as we go how to handle things and move things out and publicize things, make things public to the community, because unfortunately we've had a huge target on us for quite some time. So at this point moving forward, we're not going to be announcing a lot of things. We're not going to be providing any fluff or pre-announcements to any announcements. We're just going to do it, which will help mitigate some of these attacks. And I feel strongly that even because we wanted to get people excited about the Saitama, so we did a countdown, and that kind of bit us in the butt, because with that countdown came a massive DDoS attack, on a much larger scale than we had anticipated, although we probably should have anticipated an attack based on what history has shown. But regardless, so we have a ton.
He admitted it right there. He admitted it.
More.
Oh my God.
This. We just aren't making a lot of things public, and we're trying to focus solely on getting this product released and out the door first. And just kind of just dropping stuff on people as it comes instead of really preemptifying or hyping things up. It'll just be like, bam, here it is, because it'll help. One, it's something the community can thrive off of, and it'll keep some of those targets off our back where people can't come in and try to manipulate the market or throw wrenches in what we're trying to do. So even yesterday, as I put out a quick update, for our frequently asked questions onto our website, the second that I made that post to put it out, our website got hit with a bunch of bot attacks, which we have mitigation in place already. So it only took a few seconds for that, for that to roll out, take effect, and start blocking those bots. But that's how quick it is, right? Especially in this space. Like I put it out saying go to our website to read our press release, and all of a sudden, boom, thousands of bot attacks. So yeah, so we're having, unfortunately, it's one of those things that we've had to endure from the beginning. It's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and it's not something that we can necessarily control. We just learn to adapt and overcome from it. So yeah, we're having to be a little bit more strategic about how we release information, our marketing tactics, and obviously from a PR standpoint as well. But people have to understand too. We're still very new, right? We're only 8 months old, so most would consider this still to be most of a startup. Which is going to have some of its bumps and hiccups along the way. And, we're creating a very solid product that we're all very passionate about and truly believe that it's going to be something massive in the future. And it already is. If you look at it from hindsight, what we've done in the last 8 months is astronomical in comparison to what other people have attempted to do and could not succeed or took them years to do. So what we've done in a short amount of time is really something to be proud of, not just us from the development team, but from the community that has been there with us from the beginning. So that we're still proud, and we hold our head up high. And I think that everybody else that's been with us should also hold their head up high. It's not a time to put your head down and feel sorry for yourself. Like what we've done is pretty amazing. So everybody should be proud of that.
That's awesome.
Thanks
They're
for
so
that, man.
open
And
right now. They
yeah,
are
I can tip my
admitting
hat to your
everything,
team,
guys.
the way
I
y'all
am not
handled
sensing
the bot
any
attack.
lies right
Y'all
now.
were pretty swift at getting everything back up and running. So I think that was very good to note. Can you give us
I feel like Russ
an
is just
update,
being
an
very
idea on
open.
how the
He's
PC
defeated. He
version
needs
on
to get back
Saitamask will
on,
differ
and
than
he's
the app
being
version?
real.
Yep. So on that, it's going to look, think of it like a little application that's going to come up. It's going to be an add-on to Chrome, and it's just basically going to come up, and it's not going to be, I don't know if a lot of people use
Hey, Rodney.
MetaMask, but similar to that, but it's going to look like an application, very similar to the one that's being deployed onto the Android device and the iPhone device. We're trying to keep a look and feel on all platforms, so that when you go into it, it's like getting into a car, right? That you feel, for example, you get into a car, and usually they try to keep a good feel, so that when you buy the next one, it's it still looks the same, and you get into another one that's from the same brand, and it's the same. So we don't want to deviate from that. We want to make sure that when you go and you use the platforms that we're developing, you kind of feel like, oh well, yeah, I've used this before. You don't have to have a lot of you don't have to go and relearn the application again. So a lot of it is going to be similar to kind of like the UI, the clicks, the where we're really thinking through on how if you can use one, you can use all kind of mentality.
Well, cool, man. I'm super excited about it, and I can't wait to see it. Earlier when we had talked, you mentioned some email wait time. Do you have a current estimate on the wait time for email registration?
No, because it all depends on how many people are trying to register, and how it could be in within an hour. There could be 20,000 people trying to register. So we're doing one a second. So if you do the math, it's gonna be a lot of wait time. So a lot of it has to do with the actual activation code expiring as well, for security reasons. So it's one of those things that if you get it with, if you got in before other people got in, you're going to get it sooner than those, first come, first serve kind of methodology. But then if you do get it and it doesn't work, it's because it has expired. So you just have to try it again, unfortunately. But we are working on that so that you don't have to worry about that. It's going to come in right away, and you can register.
Guys, he did admit it
Awesome.
was
Well,
the
thank you for
email
clearing that up
service.
for
I
everybody.
called this before it even
Community is also
happened.
wondering,
He
do you
doubled
have a
down on
current
it. It's the
CEO,
emails. Always use the
or is
last
there
email for your
an
verification
ongoing
code.
search
It took
for
me
one
14 hours
at
after I
this time?
registered to get the email. I waited
No, so we don't
patiently.
have a CEO because our corporate structure is set out the way that it is, that we're not one
We
person
don't have a
is the boss of
CEO.
anybody.
Boom.
I'm COO because I am the Chief Operating Officer. Max is the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer. We have corporate structure in that sense because everything that we do is all voted on in a democratic way. Nobody is the final answer or solution for anything. We have, our corporate structure set up like that for a reason, because we all have just as much vested into this project. We all want to see it succeed. So we don't need one person telling the other what to do. We all work as a team to find a solution, and more importantly, come up with a game plan to how to move this company forward. In my experience, I've been in business for some time. One person making all the direct decisions can be harmful in some aspects, because then you come to a point where you're not listening to the other 10 people that may or may not have a better idea. They may not have a better solution to a problem. So if you're automatically shooing that away, you're not helping or benefiting anybody in the long run. So the approach that we have to this now is and even then, it's just titles, right? Like, I'm a developer, just like MK is a developer, Max is a developer, but at the end of the day, we're all part of Saitama as a community. We're all holders. So even when we do things at the corporate level, we still take the respect and the influence from the other 300,000+ holders, right? Because anybody in the community can say, I'm a holder, I'm an investor in this project. You are just as important as me, you're just as important as Max. Your opinion matters. We take everything into consideration. We get countless ideas and emails from people, we look through them, and then we make a collective decision back, this is a really good idea. So-and-so thought about this idea. What do you guys think about it? And we collectively bring it to the table and say, okay, this is a great idea. How can we implement that? And then again, when you brought up a thing with like Michael Thompson and Terry Briggs, like, they're just members of the community. They're not a CEO. They're not, any part of our corporate structure, but the work that they do is just as important as anybody else in this community that goes out and does something to help carry the brand and to push the company forward. They don't need a fancy title, and I don't need a fancy title. We're just part of the development team. But at the end of the day, we're just holders, just like everyone else. We want to see this thing succeed. We're just in a position that we can, make a collective decision, but it's not based on one person.
It's my first live stream.
It's based on everybody collectively. So we don't have a CEO for a reason, and we have no reason to bring one in.
We don't have a
awesome.
CEO.
Well, thank you very much for clarifying that.
There's no hidden position. There's no hidden guy.
And I feel like I keep bombarding you with them, but the community has been like collectively adding these questions in our Discord. And for future reference, guys, to all the listeners out there, if you want to get some of your questions answered, make sure to hop in our Discord. We have a room set up for each week, for each dev team that we will be interviewing. So just to let you guys know. But we have another one coming in. Back to the paid marketing question. One listener is asking if the Nasdaq interview was paid for by the team.
Did not speak about Wallet Connect.
Yeah, so every marketing, as I have alluded to earlier, is paid for out of pocket by the development team. We get approached all the time to have marketing campaigns. Everything, and if you guys have any experience in marketing or PR or anything, everything costs money. We've done some interviews for free, right, where they just like genuinely want to do some content, but when we're looking at larger marketing campaigns like that with the Nasdaq and stuff, they'll come in the work and be like, hey, we want to do some content, but of course they have overhead costs too. I mean, production is not free. Nothing in this world is free, and good marketing is not free, but free marketing is usually not good. So yeah, of course we had to pay some, and that's, to cover their overhead expenses too. We can't expect everyone to do everything for free. But on the other end, we also don't ask for money for those things. We just utilize the funds that we have, usually out of pocket, to fund these things. And why? Because it's beneficial to the entire project, and we want it to do well. And it's beneficial for us to get our name and our brand out there. So if we have an opportunity to do that, we will. And the same thing as we sponsored the Javante Davis fight. We still had to pay for promotions. We had to pay for travel and lodging and setting it up and doing all that stuff. And anybody, like I said, that works in marketing knows that these things are not cheap. And it was all paid for by yours truly and the rest of the development team and some of the people in the community. So we're almost like a nonprofit. Like, we have to pay for things, but we try to get things for cheaper just because we don't have a huge pool of money to pull from. And a lot of times people are holders and they want to see us do well and they want to be involved in part of the initiative. So they're saying, hey, we have an opportunity to get you here on this Nasdaq platform, but of course it's going to cost you some money, but I think we can get it for a little bit less. And that's always a good opportunity for us to jump on. It's a great opportunity. Let's do it. Let's pull some resources so we can make this happen. And why would we do that? Obviously to get it out mainstream and to make Saitama a household name. So, and we have much more marketing opportunities that we're going to be utilizing. And we get approached, daily, right? And things that we just can't physically do because it just costs too much money. And we don't have those kind of resources. I mean, we could literally be, all over the world. We have some of the biggest, soccer clubs in the world have approached us to come and have our name, Saitama, on their jerseys, during World Cups and things like that. And we can do that. We just lack the resources, right? So we have to kind of pick and choose what we want to do, what's going to have the biggest effect, and more importantly, what does that cost differential look like? So everybody's got a bottom line, and we have a budget. As of course, with our CFO, he takes a look at it and says, okay, this is what we can afford to do right now. Let's try to do this. What's going to have the biggest impact, and what's the biggest bang we can get for our buck? And as we roll out, different strategic options into our company with the Saitama and different forms of revenue, then we can start broadening our scope a little bit and doing some different and more effective marketing schemes. But yeah, so I know I got a little on a tangent, but in short, everything that we do costs money. Again, where that money comes from is for yours truly and the rest of the development team. So.
Well, thank you for that. And I think you said it best earlier when we first started the interview. It costs money to make money. So I'm sure the community of holders appreciate those marketing efforts moving forward. Some of the listeners are stating that the app on the West Coast, US, still getting an optimizing notification. Do you have any advice for people experiencing
I think they blew the budget. If there was the DDoS attack initially, they must have used all their AWS credits, and that's probably what set them back, because Russ did admit before.
Version 1.6.
No,
if not, I would advise them to go to the App Store and uninstall the one that they have.
But it's definitely not a multi-day attack. It was one day. They put in the safeguards, and now they're backtracking and fixing everything.
Their cache. A lot of these is in the
what you have to do.
that have been submitted to. They're on the website. So one of the things I wanted to, now that we're on this topic, I wanted to say, I realize, everyone's super excited to get the application and to get it working and to actually, use it. But we're going to start doing an FAQ type of roll it out on a daily basis. We keep continuously getting from answers that we can't answer everybody directly. I know that there's tons of Twitter comments, hey, this is happening, this is not. I want to make sure that everybody doesn't feel like we're not answering them. It's just that, as the dev team, we can't just go in there and start answering, 15,000 questions in one day. Otherwise, we won't get any work done. So we want to make sure that people are aware, and we will take these questions and put them up with answers. But just sorry, I went on a tangent. I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that this is happening and it's on the page and it's on the Telegram and all of that. But yeah, if not, install the application, and you should be okay. And if you are trying to log in and you get a 401 error, try to register again. It's because your registration didn't take, in the code that you got expired.
Awesome. Well, thank you for clarifying that, man.
That's exactly what I'm saying. They must have not had the safe measure. They used all their network data credits, and that's it. And AWS stopped them. They saw that.
It is
and
part
slowly they're turning things back on. Cryptologists already admitted it was email, guys.
100% functioning, and we don't have any discontinued services between the services that we're providing. But yes, we will have that. We will have obviously the whole staking application. All that's going to be done through Saitama.
Cryptologist was so transparent just now, like that was crazy. Like
And just so you guys
they
know,
flat
you
out
can,
told us
that
everything
FAQ
that
section
I
is on our
speculated
website
on,
too, so you guys
unfortunately,
can,
but just from my
it's on there
experience.
under newsrooms
And now
and
I've gotten
tags,
that
so I
validation.
posted
I'm
that on
feeling
our
very
website
happy
yesterday.
right
So
now
a
that
lot
at
of the
least
stuff
I
that
know
people
what I'm
ask me
talking about, you know?
or questions repetitively on here, you can go on there, they're all answered. If there's going to be some more, if you guys have, like Sandra said, we'll go through and kind of look and see which ones are being repeated, so we can develop a new FAQ section and put that out for you guys. So just so people don't feel like they're being ignored. We're just gathering the data and putting it.
I stream because I want Saitama to succeed.
Yeah, well, thank you very much
What
for
the
that. I actually have two more questions, and then I was wondering if you guys are not too time crunch. Do you have a few minutes where we could bring up some speakers from the community?
Oh, let's go. Sandstorm, get in there. Get in there, Sandstorm.
Yeah, I don't know what cryptology schedule is like. I know that these guys are really busy on the engineering team trying to mitigate some of this stuff and roll out the corrections. But I got a few minutes that I can hop on and take a few questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can do the same.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure the community will really appreciate it.
I will
One
bring
of the
up
last two
Sandstorm. I
questions
need
we
to
have,
figure out
what
how.
are the major milestones to be achieved, including any major new exchange listings expected by Saitama in the first half of 2022?
Yeah, so I mean, we always, like I said, we have a ton of things that we're working on that it's in our roadmap, and I know people like look at our white paper too, and I know that we need to update our white paper because we've done so many more things. We're adding so many things that have been on there. You know, for milestones that we're looking to achieve, obviously SaitaMask is, you know, one of the biggest ones, and rolling out all the functionality of it, and that is kind of incorporated with the roadmap of SaitaMask, like, you know, with the cards and crypto payment system, you know, the Sata blockchain development, Sata Social with our gaming platform. We got, you know, Gabe and his team has been working really hard on putting together some of these amazing games that we want to put on there. You know, we have part of our education content. We're creating, you know, the Sata Education or edutainment. So we're creating content for that to get rolled out for new investors as well as old investors that just want to learn more. So those are all big things that we're working on, and that's part of the foundation for SaitaMask being secure, so we can start rolling these out in phases. So that's probably the biggest thing, obviously, and that's the groundwork of what, you know, Saitama is, and incorporating this ecosystem in a functional interface. Exchange listings, I know people always ask about exchange listings. We're constantly in communication with major exchanges all the time. So it's not a matter of if every single centralized exchange is going to list Saitama. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And that when is not something we control. It's something that they need to look at and say, okay, now we're ready to list you, or we have an opening, or now you've become relevant enough in the space, or whatever their motivations are and how their process is. I have no idea. But there will come a time when we're listed on every single centralized exchange out there. And as they roll out, I would be remiss to say that we'd probably be listed on a majority of them this upcoming year, just based on the fact of what we're doing, the amount of volume and reputation and things that we're going to gain in the market over the next 12 months, that we'll probably be listed on all of them within the course of 2022. So if that doesn't happen, I'd be extremely surprised.
Got to catch up.
Well, I'm sure everybody from the community cannot wait to see what you guys got rolling out next, man. So I really appreciate you answering that question. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get a few people up from the community and
they
get
kicked
some
Sandstorm
questions
out of here.
asked to y'all. So give me a few seconds. I'll start accepting some speakers.
This is why we need a fake, or no, I guess I shouldn't promote fake accounts. Byra. You're out of here. This is that awkward silence. Yo, Sandstorm, I want to bring you up. I just don't know how. I'm thinking, can you join me on Discord? I'll give you a call. And
so how are you doing one day?
We can see if that works.
Questions?
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
This is my first live stream. I'm sorry. I'll try and figure it out. I promise.
And we're huge fans of you guys. So I have a couple things, and I'll be very brief. One of the questions or ideas currently pinned on my profile right now. Secondly, about the free advertising, I do have a suggestion for that. I tend to lean towards the free advertising side because I think it's really good for organic growth. Now, previously, Dogecoin's going to the moon right now this year, and Bitcoin is definitely going to try to go to the moon as well. I think we should jump on that train, because if we do that, we'll get free publicity from all different sources, news outlets and whatnot. So I think that would be a really good idea. great for organic growth, and everyone will hear about us, and we have a good intention. So, you know, once people see that, I mean, that would be a huge plus for our community. And yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed the question. Are you saying that we should get involved with the Dogecoin community and the Bitcoin community? Is that what you're saying?
Well, sort of, kind of. Sorry, you guys caught me completely off guard. I was not expecting you guys to accept my my request.
So you should have had a question before you requested, man.
Yeah,
Come
I think
on.
we should definitely push for that. That's my personal opinion, obviously, but you know, that's something that shouldn't be taken so lightly, because you know, it's space, and I personally think it's a good idea.
Oh, so you're saying physically going to the?
No, not physically. No.
This is my first.
Not physically. Just you know, what kind of like what they're doing. You know, send some coins to space, and or just even talk about it and come up with some ideas. You know, there's all kinds of possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, so we're advocates of every coin, right? I mean, we've always taken it, you know, into account that, and I've always been an advocate of every single crypto coin out there. We've never been ones to try to put one down to kind of gain traction in the space. That's never been our mentality. And my thought and overview is we have all these different coins that do well. They bring in new holders, they bring in new money into crypto. That benefits everybody, not just, you know, Saitama, not just that respected coin, but the whole space and the community as a whole, which is why we want to bring in other coins onto our platform, because if they're invested in there, and we give our, you know, holders and investors an opportunity to also diversify in their portfolio. I mean, I want everybody. I want the whole crypto space to succeed. I want everybody to do well. You'll never catch me targeting or putting down another, you know, potential project. So yeah, I mean, we're not going to
put out another potential project.
But yeah, I hope that everybody grows successfully in itself. You know, we can all grow collectively and together. So we can all go to the proverbial moon. I guess we can go there together.
That sounds like a plan, man. Huey, you have your hand up. Do you have a question you want to come up and ask?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, man. Go ahead.
So I guess this is a question from my wife, actually, and she's probably more adept at this than I am. As Ethereum migrates to Ethereum 2, will Saitama become a proof of stake or a proof of concept or something other? I understand your blockchain development is further out than the migration to Ethereum 2, so I think that's probably relevant.
Yeah, do you have a better answer than I do on this one, Sandra? As far as what that looks like for the Ethereum 2 rolling out?
So we're gonna stay. We're gonna stay with the current version. We're going to obviously provide the staking capability and doing all of that. But we're, you know, the plan is to have our own blockchain. So we don't want to, you know, create a bunch of. We want to do all the utilities. We want to create everything, have a baseline, and then migrate that baseline to a new blockchain that we will control. Right. So.
Yeah, I understand that, but the blockchain in your network is further out than the current plans for Ethereum 2. So
this is a good question, because Ethereum 2 is going to come out way quicker.
How does your token fit?
What are they going to do if they do proof
network?
of stake?
Yeah, at the moment, I can't give you an answer for that.
There we go.
We would have to take a look at, see what our applications have, do a full, you know, digestion of what that means. And then
they probably haven't read about proof of stake. It's a very crazy concept, especially when changing from Ethereum to Ethereum 2.
And we're not close to it. We will have to either, you know, be at a crossroad and say, okay, are we going to take some time to get into
mining could go away,
Ethereum, or we're going to just fully focus on the other aspects of things to create the new blockchain. And if the capabilities of staying in the older version of Ethereum not going to impact the community, then, you know, we have to weigh our options. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think it really just comes down to timing, right? So I know that V2 has supposed to have been rolled out, you know, last year, then they did the London fork. So it really comes down to timing. If the V2 is rolled out and it's fully functional and operable, and we're weeks away from integrating our own blockchain, then it doesn't really make sense to us to adopt and to come over to the V2. So And again, like Sandra said, it really it comes to timing and how that benefits, and as it's integrated and rolled out, we'll have to, like you said, look at it, digest it, see how it's beneficial, and time-wise, if it takes 2 weeks or a month to roll it out and integrate into V2, and it's just more beneficial for us to wait 4 weeks to roll out our blockchain, then obviously we would just do the wait. But if it's something where V2 rolls out tomorrow and we're looking at 12 months to migrate into our own blockchain, then of course it's probably something that we would have to take a deep dive into and see the benefits and how they outweigh one another.
Exactly.
I guess that's the ultimate question. Would it be proof of stake or proof of concept?
It's going to be proof of stake, man. Come on. What the heck? You can answer your own question.
Just be probably proof of concept. Right? We have to look at everything from a 10,000-foot view and see what benefits us and the community and the coin itself and what that looks like.
Just switch to proof of stake.
Speculate, but we
what the heck you going to concept, man? Come on.
All right. I just
you adapt. The technology moved on. You adapt to the technology. You move on. You don't. I mean, there are people out there. They're still using the flip phones, I guess.
Moving fast.
But I don't want to be that type of technology guy.
For sure.
Stick with what I know.
Well, thank you, Huey. We appreciate it. We'll take do you guys have some time for a few more, or?
I may cut it to hit the hour.
We'll call it 3:30 my time. Will be a kind of a drop dead time for me at 3:30. I had a couple more calls I got to get on today, so we got about 25 minutes, man. If ever you guys feel we need to utilize that time, let's do it.
Cool, appreciate it, man. So we have Warrior. Do you have a question? You want to come up and speak?
I do. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for having this.
If you guys have anything to say, I am in the Degenerate Discussion Discord.
My question.
I mean, as long as you're civil,
really related to
we can hear you.
On in the Twitter arena, I want to lift up everyone that's trying to do right and trying to create safe spaces, but I think just the growth of the community, there's an inflection point now where there seems to be like a lot of war. Just to put it
Rodney's Discord.
I don't even know if that's lightly, but. I mean, and in the back and forth, a lot of people that are being introduced to the space are getting hit. And I'm just wondering, there was an AMA 2 or 3 AMAs ago, Russ, where you did mention the plan around like the growth of the team on the Saitama side being kind of ambassadors or designated ambassadors. And I want to put this in the context of my question, which is on the platform itself. In moving forward, understanding that resources are limited, is there a plan to really create ambassadors, maybe through site of social or even more on the Twitter side, just to make sure that there's some accountability in terms of safe spaces, especially as the community goes from 300,000 to 1 million? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, let me, and it does, it's tough, man, it really is, because I, myself, and a lot of, people in the community, like, we take this very, very seriously. And we take it personal, right? I mean, I can speak for myself for sure, and probably many others, and I know for a fact the rest of the development team, like this is like our baby, right? Like we've created this thing from nothing. We put our blood, sweat, and tears into it for almost the last year, and it's disconcerting, and it's tough to see a lot of these antics on Twitter, especially. Twitter's become such a toxic place lately, and it's really difficult to try to not take some of these things personally, right? Because when I see people bad-mouthing myself or any of the other developers or people in our community, it's tough to digest and swallow because we're all so passionate about it. And, we've created something that's really amazing. And I just wish that everybody could see the potential. And most people do. And I have to kind of take a step back, too, and take a breather every once in a while and understand that it's not just a few people attacking it, and not to take a lot of that stuff seriously, and just continue to keep our head down and keep driving forward. Because at the end of the day, we know what we're creating, and we know that it's going to be something truly special. But again, it's like it's hard to kind of ingest all that without having some sort of negative reaction to it. But to answer kind of your question, how we can kind of mitigate that, I mean, it's really difficult because social media is a free speech platform, and people are allowed to do and say whatever they feel. Regardless of what their initiative, what their motive, or their thoughts behind it are. We can't control a lot of that. But as we grow from, like you said, 300,000 to 1 million holders, we have the full roadmap and plan we're already incorporated, so we're going to have W-2 employees and revenue in place that we can bring on people to help in different aspects, whether it be, PR, HR,
my wife.
Marketing, campaigning, trying to control the space, have a better outlook and a better plan in place to mitigate some of the flow of information to help spread knowledge and wealth, or not wealth, the knowledge and education to crypto users, and to try to mitigate some of these negativities. So we can't really stop it completely, but we can try to put something in place to try to minimize that. And that's something that we definitely have a plan on doing as we grow. We just have to get to that point right now. We have, between the development team, the moderators, people in the community, almost ambassadors, as you will, we're probably close to 100 people now, with the engineering team, the marketing team, content creators, advocates, things and whatnot. And as we grow, creating more physical locations and satellite offices for people to, be in charge of gaming and development and
oh my God, this feels so scripted. He's rehearsed
like
this.
We'll have resources
it just feels
and
like
the manpower to do some of those things.
It's fine. He's a COO. It's what he has to do. As I mentioned
earlier, we're kind of almost like a startup, right? We have a plan in place. We can't jump from A to F, right? We got to go A, B, C, D,
you guys see Sandstorm raising his hand?
So it's definitely in the roadmap, and it's something that we're structured to do and looking forward to. And we see issues, right? And all we can do at this point is just kind of take note of it and say, okay, this is something that we need to address in the future. How do we do that properly? But we can't just do it immediately with a snap of fingers. But it's obviously something that's become on our radar, and we're like, okay, how do we mitigate the best way that we can, right? How can we do that with the resources we have available right now? And sometimes the answer isn't always right there in front of you. It's just understanding and recognizing there is a problem, and then trying to remedy it the best way that we can, and create a solution for down the road, because we're not in it for today or tomorrow. We're creating a long-term project, a long-term company that we're all going to benefit from down the road. We have to do it in a very strategic manner. So it is what it is, and unfortunately, I'm not sure why it is the way that it is, and why there's been so much negativity and, almost like you said, kind of like attacks. We don't condone that. We don't have never been an advocate of that of any kind. We've always wanted, peace in the space, and, a community and crypto growing collectively and not individually. So it's not really called for and needed, and it's really immature in a lot of different spaces. So how do we control that? I mean, you really can't, right? You can't control the thought process and how people interpret information and how they then turn that on to others. But we can try to at least put.
He's just rehearsing. He's
bring on people that can be spokespeople and ambassadors for Saitama.
He heard like that one buzzword, and he's like, I know which script to run through.
To help people. At one point in time when we first started, we were very small. I used to be in the Telegram and in different spaces, talking to each individual person as they came on board and answering questions individually. And if people had something negative or FUD to say about Saitama, I would speak to them one-on-one for as long as it took to clear up any issues or questions that they might have. And most of the time, all it is interpretation of the information. They hear or see one thing on YouTube, where they read it in a Reddit post or whatever, and then people start to assume. And when you start to assume negatively, it's not because you want to, it's just you're just interpreting the information that was given to you without any remedy to that. So it's our job to be better at providing information and updates to the community to kind of help with that FUD. It's not necessarily hate, it's just lack of information or knowledge in the space. And that's okay. I mean, crypto's new. Not everybody.
Crypto's new, really.
I'm not a crypto expert, and I don't know all that there is to do, but I know enough, and especially regarding Saitama, what that looks like, to have to get out to the people and give them the information that they need to help answer some of those questions, and to help get in front of some of that FUD. And we've been pretty transparent as much as we can, and to help that, but it seemed like, it doesn't matter. And it depends on the atmosphere too. And I said, Twitter's become really toxic. We could come on there right now and say, the United States and the United Nations came together and decided to adopt Saitama as the only true currency in the world. And we would still get people to come on there and say, win Binance, win Saitama.
That's such a great.
It's about interpretation of the information, and
when Binance,
attitude and prosperity and integrity.
When Lambo,
we can't force that on people, but we can try to mitigate it and guide as best we can. I know that was kind of long-winded, but it's something that we notice and something that we'll address.
Let's see.
No, I really appreciate that. And I just want to finish on this, if I can, a quick second. My heart was with you when the attacks really got personal and stuff, and I just want to say it wasn't right. And at the end of the day, there are those of us, of course, that will always hold that line, right, of integrity. But with that said, to hear you say this in the space, and to tell everyone how important it is to educate others, and to be understanding, empathetic, and to understand that those are only a few people, and there's so many more that need to really, that need a safe space, right, to address the questions they have. I just want to say that, this is why, I came up to ask a question too. This is why I continue to be a part of this community. So thank you, Russ. Also, thank you, Washer Guru, again for creating the space, and power to the people.
Yeah,
nice.
Man,
power to the people, guys. I mean, I really like this AMA regardless. Like, I think they opened up very well right in the beginning.
We'll adapt and overcome like we always have.
Wait, thank you, Warrior. Appreciate it very much, man. We've got time probably for one or two more questions. So, JB,
come on, Sandstorm,
come up
get in there, buddy. Guys, I will be on Discord.
Yeah, I guess the only question I had is it's kind of a two-part question. So the tokens that are going to be paired with Saitama, and it may have been mentioned earlier, but has the liquidity already been provided for those? Are they planning on doing that when Saitama launches? And the second part is, what about the tokens that aren't going to be listed anymore? Did they already have their liquidity, and what are they going to do with it?
Yeah, so we only have, I think the list that we put out initially was there was only like 5 or 6 tokens on there. The liquidity and the pairings have already been injected and are there. And again, this is the reason the DDoS attacks and all that, it doesn't have anything to do with the actual security of the Saitama and what that looks like for the the infrastructure of the platform and safeguarding tokens and money and all that. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's just the login. Like you're trying to cram 1,000 people in through a single doorway. So the LP has already been injected via those 6 coins, I believe, that were already on that list. So the LP is there. These guys have already started doing test swaps and all that stuff, so that when shortly after we get everything out the door rolled out smoothly, we can integrate those pairings and options. And again, it's the Saitama and native token pairing. So the LP is already there. And there's a couple that were on there initially that we had removed. They had done the liquidity and they've already been reimbursed that portion. So yeah, it's all been taken care of.
Hey, thanks.
Awesome. It's all been taken care of.
Anonymous, you have your hand up?
Anonymous! Yo, is this Slim Jim? Hey, Russ, Slim Jesus? Oh my God! Yes, Slim Jesus! He made it! Oh my God! Oh, they got him off? They kicked him off.
Yeah, so sorry about that, Russ.
Yeah, can't help
Anonymous. Oh my God! I was too excited about that.
Do you want to come up and ask a quick question?
Yeah, I've been a holder. You guys can hear me?
Oh my God! I got way too excited about that.
Absolutely, man. Can hear you.
If Slim Jesus made his points, oh my God!
Thank you, Russ, for coming out and being transparent. I've been a holder since almost the first couple of weeks that Saitama came out, and this is more of a comment. And
so Sandstorm has a chance. He can ask his question. They got Slim Jesus, man.
And I've gone through what Saitama has gone through as a holder.
That's a win for Slim Jesus. Like, that's just going to give him more ammunition. Why did they kick me?
From day one, when Saitama,
they're trying to hold the man down.
Attacks have been, and they have gone through so much adversity.
I really love this AMA. Like, we were hit with truths. Slim Jesus at the end here.
Really appreciate Russ and the dev team, Max, Cryptologist C, and everybody for really hanging in there and then trying to be as transparent as possible. And that was the whole idea of Russ's dream and trying to be transparent in this crypto world. And
thank you, Montano.
I really appreciate the team. And my question is basically, what in the future? Saitama has a big target on its back, and we know that by now.
They should.
So, what in the future are we doing to prevent, all these other cyber attacks? Are we going to get a third party to stop this, or at least prevent firewalls and
They already put up stuff.
Thanks, Doc. I appreciate your comments and, of course, your continued support in the project. It means a lot. We got a lot of people that have been around here through everything, right, at the beginning to the end and up till now, and the amount of adversity that we've had to overcome. It's obvious, but there's a lot of people that are passionate and see the bigger picture in the future and what we're trying to do. So, to kind of answer your question as far as what we plan on doing, the target that Saitama has on its back is pretty big. We have a couple different ways, and there's 2 parts of this that we plan on approaching it. The first part being the cyber.
Guys, the question was about firewall and third party.
Mitigating that, we've brought in third parties, of course.
There we go.
Through AWS to have these mitigated, and they're already in place. They're already operating, and that part is done. and completed, so we don't have to worry about that moving forward. Now, like I said, it's just kind of cleaning up the mess. As far as the other attacks that we've seen prior to Saitama launching through trademark issues, as you can see, we have a tremendous legal team that is full of a lot of very, very reputable attorneys throughout the United States that we have working day and night behind the scenes to come with solutions. And it's really tough because these things are all open investigations at this point, so I can't really divulge any of the information regarding that. But the plan is, of course,
you're not going to find the DDoSer.
Kind of start smacking some fingers.
That's a waste of time and money.
Put it out there to know that we're not ones to be messed with anymore. So we've kind of, taken it back a few times, and we're in the process of, mitigating that and letting people know that, hey, we are a big company and that we do have the resources available to fight back, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So it'll all
your guys mouth breathing.
I can't really put a lot of details on that as
that's
it's
not
an
me
ongoing
breathing.
investigation, but yeah, you guys will all find out soon enough.
Well, thank you again, Watcher Guru AMA, for this AMA and Saitama Guru. And I've been on Twitter and I've been watching all the back and forth, and I've even posted. It's the irony of it because I've posted about Gandhi and all the nonviolence and being hit from all directions and MLK, and it's ironic that tomorrow is going to be MLK Day, so or soon enough. So thank you, Watcher Guru, for this giving this platform.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, awesome. And I just wanted to as you mentioned the MLK, and I'm not trying to put us in that same category by any means, because what he did for for this nation is unprecedented. But look at all the true leaders and the things in the past that we've done and what they've accomplished and the adversity that they've had to overcome. With the Lincoln and the MLKs, and everybody that has made true statements, throughout the world, and throughout our generations, they all had to overcome adversity. So when you're trying to do something proactive and you're trying to recreate a space and you're doing something for the people in the community to make it better, you're going to get some pushback, right? You're going to get some adversity. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it's something that's difficult and provides some sort of pushback, most of the time people are like, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm just going to throw the towel in. That's never been our mentality, right? If we were going to do that,
they still haven't thrown the towel in. They're still actively coming up here talking. They're still doing what I want them to do. So even though I'm a holder, I may, spread FUD according to the haters, but
it's never been our mentality.
I'm still here, guys. I'm still holding. I need this to succeed.
Perform harder, to push more, to work more, to put in more time, to kind of strive for better, to know that the impact that we're making is going to be something that's going to be long term. And going to look back at it and go, wow, look at all the things these guys had to do to get to where they are. And like I said, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Absolutely, man. Let's take one more question.
All right, last question. Come on, Sandstorm.
Ending statement. So, Classy Crypto.
Classy Crypto.
Hey, Matt. Yeah, I do have a question for Saitama Guru. I had two questions, but since we have time for one, I'm going to go ahead and first
he's going to ask both, I guarantee
saying that I'm actively a content creator for Saitama, and I've been trying to bridge the gap in terms of going ahead and getting into contact with
they already said they're not going to go against YouTube
some form
creators. They're going to just come push all the information through the official.
In terms of updates, in case maybe we miss something or in case something happens.
So he's showing his YouTube channel right now.
But on top of that, I'd like to go ahead and commend you for going ahead and having all of these AMAs with Watcher Guru, with everybody else that's coming. I think David Gockstein went ahead and said that he wants to do one with you as well. But that's exactly what I've been saying on my YouTube channel. People are saying that you're not being transparent enough, but I think that you're doing a great job. You've been doing everything that a COO has to do to ensure its investors. And you even said when your token was smaller that you went ahead and talked to everybody individually to make sure that they trusted you. And I believe that 100%, because that's what everybody that starts something that they love does.
Yo, so, did his Twitter say something else and he jumped on this space? And he's saying something else?
With even like Jake
switching sides?
Austin Hilton, Zach, all the big boys that are covering your token would be great.
Oh, no.
And I think that would be serving the public justice, right? So we can go ahead and get the best form of information out there for y'all.
Oh, no. Yeah, I literally listened to him on Rodney's stream. Like, wow, what is this? It's okay. If they promote him,
AMAs, which is
that's
helpful.
Fine.
Sometimes we
But all he did was
due to
just throw his
scheduling
YouTube
conflicts,
channel and his
travel
name
a
out there
lot,
so more people
you know, and
subscribe.
just whatever else.
That's like Rodney going up there.
But we try to, and that's something that we've actually done.
Come watch the degenerate live stream.
Is weekly AMAs, and people say, "Oh, you're not."
Like, am I crazy, Rodney?
Back in the day, and I can say back in the day, even though it was only 8 months ago, you know, in digital.
I'm not a Saitama fanboy, and he goes up there and does this. Come on.
Our very first AMA was through a live video feed, you know, and people that were new ambassadors at Saitama, I think there's only like 30 people in the entire group, where we did a live stream video through Zoom. And people were like, wait, who are you guys? Like, no, we're the actual developers. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, no, really, what do you guys understand? Like, no, we are the developers of this coin. I'm like, oh, why are you showing your face? Because that was our premise from the beginning, because we wanted to be transparent. I don't use a fake name. I don't use a fake alias. That's my birth name. Everybody else that you see, that's our God-given name, and we use it. And we've been out there with our face, and we put our reputations out there. We put our information out there. You know, good, bad, or indifferent, it's there. We want to be transparent, you know, and if people don't understand the waves that creates. And, you know, as we get larger now, I think about my family. I'm a family man. What does that do to my wife and my kids? You know, go to school one day. We're 1 million plus holders. You know, my son goes to school and he's like, oh, I know your dad. I see him on TV. These are the risks that we knew ahead of time going into it. And we wanted to change the space and create that transparency and remove that wall to build trust. So yeah, I'm with you. People are like, oh, you're not transparent enough. Like, I really don't know how we could be any more transparent. Like,
don't be any more transparent.
Food, it's Italian food. I mean, that's really the only secret I have up until this point, right? So we're out there in front of everybody all the time, and not because we're trying to be pushy Tupperware salesmen, but because we're passionate about what we do, and we want people to understand and see that passion and see the vision that we have and the amount of work and energy that we have and you put into it. And even now, I'm big into philanthropy. I do a lot of stuff in the community. I'm always traveling and I'm always doing things through other parts of the community and building people up and trying to spread the Saitama name and the brand out there. You know, and it's something that you get behind when you're really passionate about something and you know it's for a good cause. It doesn't take much, and you want to do whatever you can to get it out there. And it doesn't mean if you're talking to somebody at the bus stop, somebody in the line at the grocery store, or on a YouTube live feed, or through, Watch Your Guru AMA on Twitter Space with thousands of people. You want everybody to know it. You can get on top of a mountain and scream as loud as you can and that you're passionate about this and you want them to know something about Saitama. So we got to utilize every avenue that we can. And if that means coming onto a Twitter Space.
All Classy hears is Russ is talking to me, and then boom, he's got the inside scoop. Here we go. This is a whole new video and content for him.
And not, people that have 1 million followers. I was doing it with everybody. A lot of these guys, some of these ones that you mentioned, like Jake, he's been helping us for a long time, and he didn't have as many followers and subscribers as he has today. But we were on his channel all the time. All these other people that came up to the smaller YouTube folks, people that were in the community that just started their YouTube platform. Like the one guy that we started, months ago, he just started. I was like his very first subscriber, and I agreed to come on and do a live YouTube stream on his channel. And he had less than 1,000 subscribers. I don't care about how many.
All right, get on Sandstorms or Rodney's channel.
One person or 10 people, then that's what we're going to do, and that's been our motivation the entire time, and which has helped us along the way. It may not made a huge difference that day, but long term, collectively, it made all the difference.
All I heard was Classy gonna get clapped for
really
this.
Appreciate your time, man. I know it's very valuable, and I know we said we were only going to keep you guys up here for an hour. So thank you again for taking the time to field these questions.
1 hour,
me myself, I'm personally really impressed by your transparency.
Guys,
and
I am
to answer these questions in front of the community.
Rodney's,
so to start
Discord,
to wrap it up, do you have any closing statements for our listeners, and that you might want to add for those that are not involved in Saitama, and what are some good reasons to get involved in the project?
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I appreciate it. I could stay on here and talk with you guys all day. I mean, I love talking to the community, and I'm a huge fan of crypto, right? I mean, regardless if I was a developer for Saitama or not, I would still be a crypto investor because I believe in it and I believe where it's going. I see the value. I have a business and finance background. I've been in the space. I know what it's like. I know where it's going, and it reminds me a lot of kind of like the .com era. It gives me that same kind of fuzzy, strange feeling almost, right? Whereas you can see the change and it's inevitable. So crypto's there, man. Blockchain development, traditional fiat's going to be a thing of the past very, very soon. It's just a matter of regulations and taxation. I think we'll see cryptocurrency being adopted on a massive scale here in 2022. So the Saitama is going to be at the precedence of that. We're changing the space already dynamically, and as we grow and offer different pillars within the community and the company, we're going to be a big player. And being that, we are,
as long as the leader doesn't lose vision, the company's still going to go.
I see a lot of the time now where you have new coins coming out where you almost have to be docs now, where people are like, hey, if you're not docs, I'm not going to invest in your company. If you're not docs or transparent, then I'm not going to invest in your coin. Or if they are, it's not something that they want to do long term. They're just,
I feel like they have set that standard. If they're not doxed, I'm not investing.
We have made huge leaps and bounds in transparency in crypto in general, and we'll continue to do so and set that bar as high as we possibly can, because that should be the norm. People earn their money very hard and they work hard for it. It's an obligation. You have to be able to take care of these people, and we take it very seriously and we take it very personally, and we're not just a group of guys that decided to hang out in our parents' basement and throw together a crypto coin. Like, we are very professional, we're very reputable, and we've been in this space, and we have the proper people and the proper team to make it successful. And even more importantly now, we have an amazing community. And I'm not talking about the 5 to 10 people that put in $50 and are now down to 25 and are disgruntled. I'm talking about actual true community Wolfpack members that have been around from the beginning through the thick and the thin, that have been there, ride or die with us from the beginning and know where this thing is going. It's a movement. It's something that we are all very passionate about. 300,000+ of us are passionate about it. So any kind of negativity that you guys see, don't fall victim to it, man. You can't fight hate with hate. You can't. And as hard and as difficult as that may seem to be, don't fall victim to it, man. You can't. It doesn't do anything good. It just helps spread toxicity. And we got.
All he's saying is don't spread FUD.
And I try to, set the precedent and not get involved, and not get sucked down that wormhole, because it's just not a good place to be mentally, emotionally, and everything. It's like you got to find a better outlet. For me personally in the development team, like, we see it, and we hear it, and we want to correct it, and we do everything we can. But our ambition is just to put our head down and keep working, because at the end of the day, as long as you keep moving forward, nothing can stop you. And that's where we're trying to be at, and that's where Saitama is going to go. So, we're just really proud of what everybody has helped and the support that we've gotten. I know that it's been kind of tough, in mitigating in some of these circumstances that we've had, and some of them are out of our control. And could things have gone better? Could we have kind of help to maybe put safe laws in place to mitigate some of this stuff? Sure. I mean, but none of us have a crypto ball or a crystal ball. We can't look into the future and be like, oh, we were going to have a massive DDoS attack. We should have implemented an AWS attack system sooner. That's something you don't necessarily anticipate, right? Because we're not a Fortune 500 company. We're
Admittance.
not, we're not a Google or an Apple. We're like, oh, we're going to launch this new platform. We should anticipate, a massive DDoS attack, and we need to implement a $200,000 AWS system monthly subscription to help block or mitigate that. No. But you learn as you go, and you overcome. Like I said, we're still
you got me live
learning.
I got you live.
Adapting, and the only thing about what we're doing now is
go unpack what we just heard.
Learn.
Wait, give me 1 second. He's wrapping up right now.
And constantly evolving, and that's what any company does. You don't perfect things the first time, right? You have to do some of these things in order to know what works and what doesn't. What makes a successful company is not eradicating every single mistake and not making any, but learning from them and understanding how to eradicate them earlier and avoid them in the future. So as we get bigger and as we grow, things will become much, much smoother. And you get the benefit of being in a very early company as an investor. Look how many zeros we have left. Those are not going to be there forever. So you have to take some of the good with the bad, right? You can't just be there for the wins. You got to be there for the bad days too. And that's what separates people that want to make money and that believe in a project and invest, and people that are just in it to make a quick buck, And for those that want to just got into crypto and they invest $100 and they want to become a millionaire tomorrow, then crypto's not really for you, man. I would assume take that $50, buy a couple lottery tickets, and hopefully that works out. I don't know. I mean, it's an investment, any kind of investment, regardless if it's real estate, if it's crypto, if it's I don't know, if you're opening up a donut shop. You can't expect for it to just turn into gold overnight. You got to be able to have some patience. That's why they call it investing. If it was a foolproof plan and it was guaranteed that everybody was going to become a millionaire overnight, there would be a world full of millionaires, I promise you. So the idea in investing, and what I tell everybody all the time, never invest more than what you can lose, so that you'll take outside, set on fire. and never invest into something that
I got Sandstorm on me on Discord, so stick around.
If you don't believe in it, don't invest in it, because you're going to be doing what you do. You're going to be questioning your motives every single day. But for me personally, I know where this is going, and most of the people that invest in Saitama know where it's going, so they don't care what the price is today because it's an investment.
I don't care what the price is today.
A year from now, 2 years from now, their original investment is going to be much, much more. So how it takes to get from here to there is completely irrelevant. What happens next Wednesday on the calendar doesn't matter, because you know you're going to return to your investment
the chat is going
in
so
6
fast,
months
I'm scrolling
or a
to the
year,
bottom.
and know that you're going to make a bunch of money. Now, how you handle that process between now and then is entirely up to you. If you want to spend the entire day looking at the chart and hoping that you're going to go to the bathroom and come back and be rich, then crypto is probably not for you. It's very volatile. And that's something that not everybody's going to understand, and that's okay. But that's why we're here to help educate and guide people. But the last thing we want to do is try to promote negativity and try to do things that we're not going to do. We have to stay true to who we are, right, and push forward no matter what. And I think we've done a fairly good job of that moving forward. Like I said, we've made some errors, we've learned from them, but as a company collectively, we have learned a lot over the 8 months, which is going to greatly benefit us in the time periods coming forward to help us adapt and overcome to future issues, because this will not be the last obstacle or hurdle that we have to jump. There will be more, I promise you. But now we have some better ammunition and some better knowledge on how we can adapt and mitigate these things, so we don't have to have it have such a large effect, or so we can create a better product, so we can do what we want to do without having as many roadblocks, right? And you guys will see, it's a company, right? I mean, anybody that's ever had a company, regardless if it's IT, like I said, or a donut shop, like, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, right? You have to have something you believe in, and you have to understand what the future holds, and you're going to understand, like, when I had several companies, and you have to at least assume that you're going to be operating in the red for a minimum of 6 to 12 months. Don't think that you're going to open up a company, and this is not just crypto, this is any business. So if anybody's out there trying to, wants to open up a company, don't think that you're going to open it on Tuesday and by Wednesday you're going to be rich. You have to understand that you probably won't make any money for a minimum of 12 months, minimum, maybe more. There's companies out there that people start up, and no matter what you want to do and the ideas that you have, you may not make any money, and that's okay. But you have to understand that there is that option. So crypto is a lot of that volatility, and it's there. So anyways, yeah, that's just my food for thought. Crypto is very volatile, but it is going to be here for the long term. I don't see a world 10 years from now that is not heavily ran by crypto and blockchain. So you're in early. You guys are all here early. I mean, less than 1% of the world even knows what cryptocurrency is. So you guys are part of that 1%. So congratulations, you're here early.
Hey, I'm here early. I'm part of the 1%.
As always, we don't provide financial advice, so make sure to do your own research and own DD. But thank you, man, for taking the time to actually come up here and discuss with the community the concerns that they had. I think that was some time really well spent, and we hope to have you back on soon, man.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate it. And you guys are big advocates in the space, and you got a lot of followers. You guys are always putting out good information, so we appreciate it. So I hope to see some more of these with you guys, with ourselves, and with some other coins as well.
They're wrapping up. They're almost done.
Enthusiast, man, not just a Saitama advocate, obviously, but just a huge fan of crypto in general. So I'll be joining those as well, just to get.
Can you hear me, Teddy?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
I talk to other developers. I talk to a ton of developers all the time, and like, hey, what are you guys doing? I'm interested. Oh, we're doing this, and this. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. I never really thought about that. So there's a lot of very bright minds in crypto, and it's a really exciting place to be. So, and I'm like a sponge, and I can't help it. Like, I've been in school I'm 40 now. I've been in school off and on my entire life, and it's just because I'm an advocate of learning. I like to learn new things, and crypto is very new, and I don't know all there is to know. So spaces like this help me learn too. Not even as a speaker, but I'll join spaces sometimes just as a listener, just so I can get some thoughts and perspective and ideas from other people that are in the space. There's a lot of bright minds in crypto, and it's also a lot of immaturity, but there's a lot more bright minds in crypto that's going to really help shape and mold how we handle money and finance, and in the years to come. So also, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you once again, man. And we just want to remind everyone that we have the
guys, I'm leaving. They're done.
2/22/22 hosted here on Twitter Spaces, brought to you by Watcher Guru in the coming weeks.
This is my first live stream. Thanks
we're looking forward to bringing you all the most up-to-date and breaking news in the crypto.
Hey, Sandstorm?
Yeah.
All right, you're on, buddy. Let's talk about it.
All righty. So let's unpack that, whatever that was, right?
Right. To be honest, to me, it was good updates. They told me a lot. They admitted about the DDoS attack. They said it was like a one-day thing. They mitigated it, and now they're taking steps to make sure they can roll back and stuff. So from a technology standpoint that the cryptologist gave, I felt very affirmed that like, hey, the team knows what they're doing. They've called in third-party vendor, so that felt nice. But there was a lot of fluff in between, and I think that's where you want to speak.
Well, no, I want to go over the pros and the cons first. The fact that they addressed some of the questions that I have attempted to ask was very, very good. Talking about the third party bringing in and stuff like that, that's something that I've been begging to ask for like over a week now, and they finally got an answer out there about it, right?
Right. We finally got an answer, and the answer was the email service, which I predicted. I think my video was 4 days ago, before this even blew up. I'm like, hey guys, from my AWS experience, this is probably what happened. I guarantee you AWS saw this email and they were like, hey, so many emails are going out. They shut it off, and now they're backtracking. They're doing the region-based rollout. It's everything that I assumed. At that time, it was speculation, yes, but now I've gotten the validation I needed to know, hey, I'm not crazy. This is exactly how AWS works, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So that was good to get that. Now, I had my own personal questions about SaitaMask related only that I was still attempting to ask. And as you guys can see, they're not going to bring me up. And I know I've gotten some messages from many of you. I appreciate all of y'all's support, but I'm not going to create a burner account. I just don't feel like, I feel like letting them do what they're doing to me is just going to further illustrate how corrupt that this all is. This is starting to feel very much like a political game now. It's absolutely ridiculous. And they're either going to answer my questions directly to me, or I'm just not going to get answers, and I'm going to keep getting censored. I was censored today out of a few chat rooms. And then I went into Faltron's chat room today, and they used me as a punching bag and would not let me respond to literally anything. And then I politely said, well, I wish you all the best, but I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And they were calling me a snake and scammer and all that stuff. But let's go over what we just heard. So based off of what I just heard, let's not really talk about the fluff too much, because we knew that the fluff was coming. Yeah, we all know that Classy is going to go in there.
That was unexpected. Classy, man, dude. I'm in Rodney's stream. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, but we know that Classy is going to go in there with literally his jaw wide open, as big as it can be, hoping to God that even if he doesn't get to taste his dick, he's going to at least get a taste of cum that comes out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, anyways, some of the points that Russ made that I want to hit on, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. He's talking about integrity. He's talking about negative chat rooms, and he's talking about just those aspects right there. I don't host my chat room, which I've been constantly accused of, that my chat room is a negative chat room. I welcome both sides of the argument. I welcome debate, open debate, and I let people vent, and then I let people hype it up, right? So to accuse and I know he was talking directly to people like me for whatever reason that Russ felt like addressing that. If you're going to preach integrity and talk about that, at least give me a chance to defend myself, right? Because that's what I do in my room. I have repeatedly took up for Russ and his wife to say, don't be attacking his wife. Don't call her a cunt. Don't do things like that. And, they just completely ignore those aspects and just preach that all my room is negative. And that's not what it is. And to be honest with you, people are starting to see that. People are starting to see that the stuff that Russ says is not true at all. He's very politically motivated with how he talks. It's not necessarily just facts and truth. And people are noticing it now.
I do think they are noticing it, and I think Russ is also getting smart. He's now finding out, hey, these guys are after me, they're fudders. I guarantee you, Watcher Guru got a list of people not to bring up if they request speaking, and you could have been on that list. Because how the heck did Slim Jesus move up in this AMA with the account anonymous? Answer me that, Did I lose you?
Yeah, I'm here. I hear you.
Yeah, so that's like literally one of the points. Like, as soon as I saw Slim go up there and you did not go up, I'm like, okay, they must have a list. And they said, hey, don't bring these people up if they request it. And they're selectively picking. And did Classy know he was going to go up before he even requested speaker? I start to wonder, you know, are these people that were already knew they were going to be asked to go up?
Oh, without them having to verify what you just said, I'm 100% positive that they had. I don't know if they had an approved list of who could come up, but I would say they definitely had an approved list or a list that says these people are not coming up. I don't care if you see them. I don't care what they say. Don't bring them up at all. So I do think there's a list with basically this blacklisted, and I think that my name is on it for sure.
Yep. Yep, I completely agree.
And see, that's very unfortunate because, you know, in my rooms, like I said, I continuously welcome open debate in both sides of the argument. And then Russ tries to act like he's doing the same thing. That's the political portion that he's pushing. He's trying to push the same narrative. I don't know if anybody else is noticing it, but did you notice that Jake Gagan is supposedly doing podcast style interviews now? He's going to ask the hard questions when it comes to certain people. Are you noticing what Russ is saying about integrity when he's never talked about integrity before, ever? And he's talking about listening to people's objective opinions. They're seeing the stuff. I'm on their radar and I'm blacklisted. And they're trying to take what I'm doing and flip it around and use it against me. And that's perfectly fine. But you got your cult followers that see it, but you also have the people that their eyes are starting to open.
Right. No, this is very much true. And to be honest, I think Russ is at the point where he's like, hey, if I need to get on an AMA, don't include these people. And these are the topics I'm going to cover. So make your questions more related to this. Because the questions that they were asked, they were ready. They knew that the DDoS multi-day narrative wasn't working. I did not hear once the multi-day DDoS attack. All I heard was we had a DDoS attack. A lot of network traffic came in. It overwhelmed the data, right? The network data that was coming in through the servers. And they had to stop and literally add protections, including AWS WAF and AWS Shield, so they can bring down the network traffic and the monthly bill goes back to normal. I guarantee you whatever amount of money they put as a quota, they went way past it because they did suffer a one-day DDoS attack where their traffic was overwhelmed. AWS shut them down because there's no way they're paying $40,000 in infrastructure costs. And they're like, hey, let's add these mitigations. And once they had the mitigations, they noticed, hey, we need to rework the app so we can work with AWS Shield and AWS WAF so we're protected throughout the infrastructure. And one of the main things is the cost is crazy. Enabling WAF is $3,000 a month, and that's just starting. And now they've added reCAPTCHA. That's even more cost added to the maintenance of the application, right? So I wonder if because Russ was defeated in this AMA, no matter what, Russ was defeated, and he was talking with real, it was real talk. He's like, hey, this is what happened. We burned through all of our resources. We went and we got a third-party vendor. We got outside help. Maybe they viewed my video. I don't know. But they definitely added the SQS process. So they slowed down the emails. They followed everything, you know?
Oh, 100% agree. Like I said, they're watching my spaces. Like Russ says he goes into spaces and listens. He's never came into any of my spaces. I've looked through all of my recorded spaces, never seen him pop in there. When he talks about how he, you know, what's the talking points that I've used that Russ just used? I've talked about my channel's too small. Russ would never come on my channel. What did he just say in that AMA? I went on somebody's channel that had less than 1,000 subscribers. I don't have a problem doing that. He's using my talking points against me. Teddy, I've had you in my room. I've had you break down and discuss the entire IT portion of what happened. What did they just do? What did they just do in that AMA? They took what they heard in my room when you talked and they used it. They take every single talking point that I've had in my room and they tried to use it. So if they're blacklisting me, they're censoring me, and they don't want it. They don't want nothing to do with it.
I completely agree. Hey, Blue Collar Crypto, can you hear us?
They're also going to blacklist you. They're not going to take you either. Anybody that's associated with me and Rodney are going to be censored.
That's fine. Let them blacklist me. My end goal is just to continue with my portfolio, my investment, grow my crypto, like the future, right? I just want to make sure I'm making the right investments, how I'm going into coins that I invest in. And that's kind of where my journey goes to, right? But I know that I got swindled into this because of my background. When I started my YouTube, I wasn't trying to come out here with my background and be like, they're lying to us, this is that. I just knew that, hey, one of my investments, the team is lying, you know, and I work in this industry and I felt like I was being lied to. And that's why I made that video. And that's why I think the video blew up. Unfortunately, that's not what my channel does. That's just like my background in technology. But now I know that there's this many followers that are interested in tech. Like, I'm glad I made it in a way that you guys can understand technology. Like, usually when I speak tech to people, they get, you know, it's not a nice subject. They're like bored and they don't want to listen. So I was very thrown back by the amount of support I got. They're like, hey, this guy's making sense. He's actually knows what he's saying. And I'm like, yes, I do. Then I had all this hate. I had people come to my channel and were like, you don't know AWS. There's no proof. How do we know you are what you are? And then I had to make another video to show proof just for that validation. I go back, I'm like, this is not what my channel is about. I'm about investments, making sure that I'm putting my money in the right place so my wealth grows. You know, I want that Lambo, guys. I sit here, I look at this Lambo, and I'm like, one day I will have this, and I know it's happening. I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. But yes, blue collar crypto, go ahead.
I just had a couple of points, you know, that I thought were interesting with Russ talking. It's always interesting, but you know, he keeps on mentioning over and over again about this big marketing that's coming. This is like the 10th time that we've heard about this humongous marketing thing that's coming. And then the second thing is I'm a fucking roofer. I mean, I'm an expert at smacking my hand with hammers. And I knew that rolling this thing out with a countdown is just asking for trouble.
Oh yeah, it's definitely asking for trouble. Agreed 100%. And as just a real quick comment on your channel, Teddy, I think your channel is going to pass mine very quickly and be a lot bigger, and that's a good thing, man. I fully support you because you have a brilliant mind.
Oh, I appreciate that. I really do. I legit started this channel because I've seen Rodney's YouTube, and I'm a big supporter of Rodney. I was there before 7,000 subscribers, and now he's at like 13.9. He's going to break that 14K. And I was like, why is he the only YouTuber that's like being objective? What is with all these YouTube recommended videos to me about Austin Hilton, Zach Humphreys, they're going to start a podcast, this and that? I'm like, I'm tired of these 3-minute updates. I'm tired of classy cryptos. Like, you know, he just puts out thumbnail after thumbnail. It's all the same thumbnails. Now he's changed. He's changing. I think he's going in a different direction with his channel. But I was tired of these YouTubers, and I'm like, I want to be more open. Like, this is not what crypto's about, you know?
The objective army is growing, and it's growing quickly. Both of our platforms are growing. Rodney's platform is growing. If you notice, now we have Tammy, which is, you know, if you could almost consider Tammy to be a complete outsider into this, and she's now wanting to be a part of it. So the more objective YouTubers and objective opinions that we have that come into this space that can hold the feet to the fire and beg for accountability, we may not ever get it, but at the same time, we're going to get people to start opening their eyes. At this point now, you know, I was still under the impression and had the faith that this project could still be successful. But now what I'm hearing is a very political, bad talking points, using objective thinkers' talking points against them. I'm starting to think that this project really is just going to fall flat on its face.
Yeah, Teddy, you know, you're exactly what this space needs too. So, you know, I don't want to call everybody else stupid or dumb, but once again, I'm a roofer. I know nothing about this crap, right? So it's real easy for somebody to come out and say, oh, it's this, it's that, and blah, blah, blah. And I'll believe it, you know, because I don't know any better, you know? So, I mean, there's some stuff that you can kind of decipher, but other stuff is like, if you're just outside the realm of that type of knowledge, you just buy into it, right? And so now we got Teddy to call that shit out.
And as I said, it wasn't even my intention to call the stuff out. I am just an investor in Saitama. I want Saitama to succeed. Like, no matter what, I put an investment into Saitama. It has to succeed. And I had to be hypocritical of the dev team and what was being told. Because as soon as they said, hey, it's AWS backend, and then they said layer 7 bot attack multi-day, I'm like, if they implemented AWS Shield, AWS WAF, there's no way it's multi-day. They're coming up with these reasons to buy time so they can push updates. And that was my theory then from my experience. Now it's been confirmed. Cryptologist has said it was an email issue. They added the SOS. They slowed down the emails. It's what they had to do. And I'm so glad to hear that from a technology standpoint, because now I know the team's headed in the right direction. They're going to go past each hurdle. And this is not the last app. They will release more apps than Saitamask, guys. This is just a small stepping stone for them to go even further.
I actually have a question for you real quick. So, I mean, I'm a TARP fan. I mean, I am. But you have to understand that Justin was involved and Saitama. He backs up everything that they're saying. Should there be some concern about TARP?
Man, I don't know. There's the underlying crookedness. I'm not sure if it's.
I mean, let's just say they're not doing the same thing. Like, oh yeah, we got this and that, and blah blah, and it's coming. And
well, one side of me, you know, being the objective person I am, one side of me listens to what Teddy says, and I have to agree on that side of it. You know, this is the first app they got under their belt. They're probably going to have more stuff they're going to have their hands in. You know, they're able to build off of this momentum, right? But the other side of me says, man, something's going on behind the scenes somewhere. And I've already started to see it. I saw some of it today, talking about coordinated well dumping, and the community itself is starting to just eat itself alive, which is really crazy to watch, because you thought they would be mounted against us critical thinkers, but they're not even really mounted against us. They're fighting themselves. And anytime that we interfere with it, that's the only time that they go, you're a paid footer, somebody's paying you, you're a scammer. That's really the only time you hear them talk about us.
So I said something on Rodney's channel last night, and when I said it, it was jokingly. But then after I said it, I started really thinking about it. So, you know, Russ acts as a politician. I mean, he just does. There's no way around it. And so politicians are generally known for calling other people out for crap that they're doing themselves. So when it comes to paid fudders, who's to say that he's not being paid to kill this project?
This is where we enter the speculation mode, and we don't know. We don't know the answers. I don't know, and unfortunately, no one does. This is now Russ is at the point as a COO. Remember, there is no CEO for Saitama. We learned that in the AMA today. If there's no CEO, these guys have to be super smart with the information that is coming out. They're acting more like leaders now, which is something there. When a startup changes from being a startup narrative to an enterprise application, this is the things that they are going to do. They're trying to solidify their positions. They're trying to make sure that the information coming out is coming from one source, one official source. They are done with the YouTube like shilling, right? They're done with all the speculation. From what I heard in the AMA today, things should be changing. And that was my main takeaway.
I could agree with that completely. I do think things are changing, and they're trying to be more careful about how they do things. As far as the community goes, I think the community is still going to eat itself alive right now. There's something really bad going on there. As far as what's going on with them releasing information, I still think that they need a real PR team. I think a real PR team is desperately needed right now, so that they don't keep shooting themselves in the foot, because the talking points that Russ hit on today were just very, 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 just very political, in my opinion. When you're taking talking points from somebody else and then you're using them to combat that person, it's very telling of what's going on.
I was happy to just hear just once that Russ is admitting fault. I mean, even made a video about it. Like, that's, you know, that's new to me. Like, usually it's, you know, sunshine and rainbows, but, you know, he came out, he said, yeah, you know, the countdown thing was, you know, wrong.
A mistake.
Yep. Yeah. And so that's something new, you know. It's like, you know, he would kind of admit to some things, but, you know, before now it was just, like I said, sunshine and rainbows, just, oh, not us. It's this, it's that, blah, blah. But this is like the first time that I've finally heard. And to be honest with you, so people talk shit about FUDing, and I'm not a huge fan, even though I do participate from time to time, you know, kind of briefly. But Sometimes you need FUD because here's the thing. Russ has to have talked all of his friends and family into buying into this. And so if his friends and family ain't coming to him and hounding him because what the fuck, the price is down and this and that, what's going on, what does he care? He's just online. No, it's just that simple. It's like if he's not feeling the heat, then why would they perform any different? But if he's got family and friends that he's brought into this thing, and now he's got them calling him up, that's a little different story. Now he's got other people to answer to.
Well, he's going to keep feeling heat as long as his price keeps tanking. When he says things like he said in the AMA, where he says, don't watch the price, don't watch the price. Well, people are watching the price. People are watching the price, and the price is going to continue to tank if they don't get this app fixed as quickly as possible. Now, Teddy, you being the technical IT guy, since we're never going to get this answer from Saitama themselves, now that they've addressed the concern that actually fit what you said, what do you think is the time range on what's going on here?
All right, so what I believe has happened now is Saitama, and this is all from my own experience. This is, as I said, speculation, but from my experience, what I believe has happened is the Apple Store and the Google Store have given the app 24 to 48 hours, which means that their automated testing before they upload the app to the App Store or Play Store, they do some tests like, hey, can we register on this app? Hey, can I log into the app? So all they check is the API functioning? Am I getting a return? So when they first got flagged by the Apple Store and Play Store, they had to fix it. So that way the APIs returned a valid output. So the app looks like it's working to the Apple Store and the Play Store. It's what you have to do because they have automated tests that they do before listing that app on that Apple Store or Play Store. Once it solved that issue, first they had that DDoS attack, then they had bots trying to overwhelm them with the registration and login. They added the reCAPTCHA there. They're literally going down the list, guys. And then eventually they added the WAF and the Shield. They're doing the phased rollout from different regions, exactly what you're supposed to do. But there's one problem. Now they've fixed all the apps like credibility within registration and login. According to the Apple Store and the Play Store, this app is functioning. They're able to register. They're able to get some type of login response. Their next goal is going to be fixing the bug because there is definitely either an authentication or an authorization issue. Authentication and authorization is not the same thing. So after you've successfully made a registered and you've logged into the app, if you click on the app again, 90% of people on Twitter are saying the app crashes. It stops at 76%. I think this is the area where there is a true bug in the authentication and authorization layer they need to address next. This is why I don't like the whole password concept. I think magic link, single sign-on is the future. But regardless, this is the area they have to address because this is what's preventing us from logging in right now. But they have solved the issue up to the point of Apple Store and Play Store now says this app works.
From a technical standpoint, though, this is the thing, once again, going back to I'm a roofer, I'm just a normal person, not technical. I don't understand how every time I open up my phone and get on Saitama, it does something different. So sometimes it'll do this, sometimes it won't come on, sometimes it won't let me in. Like, I understand the rollout thing, I understand the email thing, all that good stuff. But why is my app functioning, changing constantly, or not functioning?
Hey, Teddy, real quick, Colleen's asking you if Saitama offered you a position to lead, would you accept it?
I would accept it. This is the thing, guys. I live near Boston, Massachusetts, where Max lives. I literally know the area. I've been to the Halal Guys in Boston, Mass. If you know anything about Halal Guys, great company, great food, gyros, everything. So I'm very interested if they truly need that type of help. But if they've reached this third-party vendor, they have outside resources coming in, they're doing exactly what they should be doing. Where one, they don't need my help if that is the route they're doing. And from what we heard from the AMA today, I believe that is exactly what they're doing, so it's okay. I'm willing to wait, and hopefully they'll get back on track. And from everything we've seen up to this point, and everything from my experience I've said, they have done those things. So they're headed in the right direction. They're working like a dev team should. It's unfortunate with the timing and the end user testing that they had to go through, but the end goal is I need this to succeed. So I will be watching it very closely.
The time frame, Teddy, how quickly do you think they get this app fixed and get it working properly?
So if it is an authorization and authentication issue, meaning that once they've registered, there is a phrase saved on your phone that says, hey, you're authorized to use this app. They don't have to re-authenticate you. Then there could be an issue there, which is why the app is crashing. It gets an invalid key or invalid something. It doesn't know what to do. And I'm only speculating. I haven't seen the network traffic, but I'm at the point where I've successfully registered. I'm trying to re-log into the app, re-authenticate myself that I am a valid user, and that's where it's failing. I've set my mnemonic phrase. I've done my seed. I've done the PIN. I've literally done everything you're supposed to register. So this is why I'm now speculating this will be solved within either this weekend. And if they need a business day, such as there's something going on with Amazon services, they ask that they also fix something else. It could be one more business day, which is into next week. But this is just from experience. We don't know how much contacts they have or what this third-party company is doing.
Right. So, but from a professional point of view, you're saying more than likely next week. That's the soonest. Next week
would say
the soonest.
I would say next week is the soonest. And if there's a third-party vendor and they're doing performance tests after every release, because this is really what should be happening. And I'm not sure which phase they are. I've been in a startup company. I've been in a startup company that's gotten bought. I've been in a startup company that's literally started up. We got bought and we turned to enterprise. I feel like this is what I'm seeing that Saitama is doing right now. They're a startup crypto. They're trying to be the person, be the go-to crypto in this space. And they're trying to enterprise themselves like the Ethereums, like the Bitcoins, and they're a docs team. It's very different, So in order to actually follow the release management, they have to go through performance testing. They have to go to penetration testing, checking the security of the app every release. So every time you see a 1.5 update to 1.6, there should be performance testing. There should be penetration testing happening on there. And this is something I'm not sure is going on. Hopefully it is. And I am getting into the app, so I'm hoping they're actually going to start giving out updates. And there will be a point of time where this app works for everybody. And we're going to go with the existing timeline that Russ has rolled out.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. But if everybody else is still watching, that's how an interview would need to take place if I was ever to get with Russ, myself, and get Teddy on board. Some of us are not Slim Jesus. We're not just going to go in there and, be a ridiculous person. So hopefully Russ ends up getting a hold of your channel and watches it, Teddy, so he can see the type of questions and answers that we were given.
And dude, I do want to say to both Blue Collar Crypto and the Sandstorm, this is my first live stream. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for sticking with me. I think the Discord way works very well. We can jump on, we can talk, people can hear us. And hopefully this works. I'll look forward to doing more live streams. And I appreciate every single one of you. I have so many new subscribers given to me from Rodney and the Sandstorm. This is the type of content I do, guys. If you like it, please like and subscribe. And guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Teddy, you're the shit, man.